To make our little composition book cover, what we're going to need is obviously a little composition book. The one that I found measures 4.5 by about 3.25 wide. And so it doesn't really matter what size that you have. I'll show you how I figured what size you need to cover. Is take your ruler, and I need, this comes to 4.5. And then I measured this way, and this is 3.25, but you actually want to double that and then give yourself maybe an extra 1/2 inch because you can always trim it off. But I'll show you a trick of how I did it. So I went ahead and I cut my designer paper. This is from Celebration 2012, Everyday Enchantment Designer Series paper is one of your free options. And I have it cut at 4.5. Actually, I have it cut just slightly past 4.5 for just a little bit of wiggle room and overhang. And so what I used is Tombow, the multi-purpose glue, and I just went ahead and we'll just put it right on the outside of the cover. And I'm going to do the front and the side. I don't want to do all 3 sides because then I won't have anything to hold on to. And we'll go ahead and we'll line up our designer paper. Okay, kind of get it straightened up here. And then here's my trick. I go ahead and, tightly make that fold line. Okay, so now I know where that's at. And I've got the front. Oops, it slipped on me a little bit. That's what I like about Tombow. Let me just hold on to it. Tombow does allow to give you a little wiggle room. There we go. Now it's covered. Okay, and I'm going to fold this up and get kind of like a fake score line. Can you see that a little bit? Now I'm going to take this to my paper trimmer and I'm going to trim that off. That way I don't have to do any of that high math. And I can just trim it right where I need it, and then that way not waste any of the paper. So I'll be back once I have that done. To further embellish our notebook, I went ahead and wrapped Victorian lace ribbon around and just adhered it with our Tombow. Also punched out a couple of different sizes of scallop circles, one with the 2 3/8 circle punch and one with the smaller scallop circle punch. I had one punch out with the larger and 2 images with the the smaller one. So our Stampin' Up! Cardstock is 2-ply, and it's wonderful because the ink goes all the way through, so you can do some really cool effects, such as this. This is called the suede technique because when we break down the fibers of the paper, we can peel apart those 2 layers, and again, the wonderful cardstock is dyed all the way through so that you get saturated color through and through. Get this started here. There we go. And I think you guys have seen this from me before on making these little flowers, but when you pull it apart, you get this really cool texture. So I've got 2 of the smaller scallop circles, so that makes 4 pieces when we peel it apart, and then 2 larger ones are going to be on the outside. Move this off to the side. Got our matte pack and paper piercer. And I'm going to put an antique brad in the center of it. But I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up nice and pretty. And I'm going to put this down, and as I call it, I make my paper piercer kind of do a little hula dance because I want to open up that opening a little bit. I can leave that in there while I go and grab one of my antique brads. Oh, let's see. I love these brads. Ooh, that one's a pretty one. Let's use that one. It kind of goes with the paper. Okay, so we're going to put that in the center of it. Open up the back of our brad. And, if I wanted to, I could just leave that to be a flat embellishment. Oh, look how cute. But for me, I like having a really big 3D flower. And again, this is something that you guys have seen me do time and time again. I squish up my petals, my layers towards that brad. Get all of those layers coming up forward. This is how I make my flowers. I think that they go together so quickly. And it's just my scrunching. And then we'll unfold it to get that look. Super cute. I love that. Love it, love it. And I'm taking my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm on the last leg of this sheet, but I wanted to show you guys how, don't be afraid to use every little bit of our Stampin' Dimensional sheets. Even though those hexagons are wonderful, the edges are also, can be used for your for raising things up off. So we want to use every little bit that we can off of that. Okay, so put that in the center of our little composition book. So cute. And then I went ahead and using an image from the Fresh Vintage, another celebration item, I stamped in matching, whoops, there goes my tripod, Copy Parade. I stamped the image on the front page just so that if you wanted to, you could write a little note on that, and then you've got the images carrying over. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning how to just cover a little composition book and have fun making these and giving them away as gifts or just to have by your phone. Thanks everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.